The 1950s saw the gradual and strategic reorganization of government agencies, expansion of educational facilities at selected high schools and colleges. As Nigeria headed towards independence, training and posting Nigerians to positions of responsibilities occupied by expatriates in the public service of Nigeria was necessary. This policy was referred to as Nigerianization. It was this policy that brought many foreign and locally trained Nigerians into government. It was during this period that the man known in Nigeria's history as Muhammadu Ribadu grew greatly in his ranks in the affairs of the newborn Nigeria. Warmest welcome to People, Places, Things. You should subscribe if you haven't subscribed already. Muhammadu Ribadu was born in the village of Ribadu, Old Adamawa province. He was the son of Abdul Hamza, a district head of Balala. In 1946, he proceeded abroad on a scholarship from the British Council to study local government. Like few of his colleagues who partook in the scholarship after his return, he became interested in the nation's political process, serving in various elected and appointed positions. In 1948, he served in the huge Food Committee, saddled with the responsibility of the Nigerianization of the senior posts in the civil service. In 1954, he was elected the second vice president of Northern People's Congress (NPC) and became literally the third Northern Nigerian leader behind Ahmadu Bello, NPC's president, and Tafawa Balewa, NPC's first vice president. By 1960, Ribadu took over the Ministry of Defense as the country became independent. His administration oversaw an increase in the numerical strength of the armed forces, an upgrade of military hardware, the development of new Nigerian Navy, and the establishment of a Nigerian Air Force. He also built and renovated military barracks across the country. His colleagues often referred to him as Power of Powers. As Minister of Defense from 1960 to 1965, he was responsible for the completion of the Nigerianization of the army, which this video is about. The most controversial task he was faced with was the selection of a new Chief of Army Staff, referred to as General Officer Commanding, GOC then. He was to replace the British Major General Christopher Welby Everard with a Nigerian officer because he was set to retire in 1965. Few officers had been commissioned earlier into what was already becoming the Nigerian Army upon independence in 1960. There were 4 officers directly or indirectly vying for the vacant post of the GOC. They were Brigadier Zakaria Abubakar Hassan Mai Malari, a royal prince from Mai Malari village in the present Yobe state; Brigadier Babafemi Ogundipe from Ago Uyiwoye in Ogun state; Brigadier Samuel Adesoji Ademulegun from Ondo City in Ondo state; and finally Brigadier Johnson Thomas Agwe Ironsi from Umuoya in the present Abia state. The intended appointment sparked contention, not due to lack of qualification, but rather because they were all highly reputable and well-trained officers. External influences from notable Nigerians further complicated the situation. To better understand the reasons behind the contention, let's examine briefly the profiles of these officers. Brigadier Zakaria Mai Malari was born on the 17th of January 1930 into the royal family of Mai Malari in Mai Malari village of present-day Yobe State. He attended the prestigious Barewa College, Zaria. It was at Barewa College that Mai Malari was advised to consider the army as a career by his school principal. Mai Malari joined the Royal West African Frontier Forces in 1950 as part of the Nigerianization program to enlist more Nigerians into the senior ranks of the army. He underwent preparatory course at the Regular Officers Training School, Teshi, Ghana, and the Royal Military Academy, Sandhurst. Mai Malari was the first Nigerian regular combatant commissioned into the Officers Corps of the Nigerian Army. He was eventually commissioned second lieutenant on the 16th of February 1953. He was an instructor at the Nigerian Military Training College and later commander of the 2nd Brigade, Nigerian Army. He was sometimes viewed by some Southern officers as a symbol of Northern domination due to his swift rise through the officer ranks from a regular combatant. But this golden officer, the very apple of Northern Nigeria's eyes, was also in the picture for the post of the GOC. Brigadier Babafemi Ogundipe was born on the 6th of September 1924 to Yoruba parents in present-day Ogun State in western Nigeria. He joined the Royal West African Frontier Force in 1941, serving in Burma between 1942 and 1945. He re-enlisted in the West African Forces and received a short service commission as a 2nd lieutenant in August 1953. In December 1956, he was commissioned into the regular army as a lieutenant. He rose to the rank of brigadier in the Nigerian Army in May 1964. He served a number of tours during the Congo crisis as part of the Nigerian Army contingent to the United Nations Peacekeeping Force. At the end of his service in the Congo, he returned to Nigeria as the commander of the 2nd Brigade of the Nigerian Army in Lagos. Brigadier Samuel Ademulegun was born on 20th October 1924 in Ondo Town, western Nigeria. He was commissioned a lieutenant on the 12th of June 1949. He rose swiftly in the ranks, becoming a brigadier. He was considered friendly with Ahmadu Bello, which brought the taste to some junior officers who frowned at their commander fraternizing with politicians. He served as General Officer Commanding, 1st Division in Kaduna. He was one of the senior officers corps of the army with Aguiyi Ironsi, Zakaria Mai Malari and Babafemi Ogundipe. He looked forward for the top army post of the GOC in 1965 upon the retirement of the expatriate GOC and was considered one of the country's finest officers. Brigadier Thomas Aguiyi Ironsi was born on 3rd March 1924 in Umuahia, southern Nigeria, now in Abia State. In 1942, Aguiyi Ironsi joined the Nigerian regiment as a private with the 7th Battalion. He was promoted in 1946 to Company Sergeant Major. Also in 1946, Aguiyi Ironsi was sent on an officers training course in Staff College, Camberley, England. On 12th June 1949, after completion of his course at Camberley, he received a short service commission as a 2nd lieutenant in the Royal West African Frontier Force, with a subsequent retroactive promotion to lieutenant effective from same date. Aguiyi Ironsi was granted a regular commission on 16th May 1953 and was promoted to captain. He was one of the officers who served as personal assistant of Queen Elizabeth II when she visited Nigeria in 1956, and so he was appointed a member of the Royal Victorian Order (MVO). By 1958, he was promoted to major. In 1960, Aguiyi Ironsi was made commandant of the 5th Battalion in Kano, Nigeria, with the rank of a lieutenant colonel. Later in 1960, Aguiyi Ironsi headed the Nigerian contingent force of the United Nations operations in the Congo. From 1961 to 1962, Aguiyi Ironsi served as the military attaché to the Nigerian High Commission in London. During that period, he was promoted to the rank of brigadier. During his tenure as military attaché, he attended courses at the Imperial Defence College. He was appointed a member of the Order of the British Empire Military Division in the 1962 New Year Honour List. In 1964, he was appointed as the commandant of the entire United Nations Peacekeeping Force in the Congo. With such powerful profiles, it was contentious and considered a controversial decision to make. Many claimed that by 1965, when the British were to hand over command of the Nigerian Army to indigenous officers, the outgoing GOC, Major General Welby Everett, recommended the mild-mannered Yoruba, Brigadier Ogundipe, to succeed him, while the former Premier of Northern Nigeria, Sir Ahmadu Bello, the Sardona of Sokoto, wanted Brigadier Ademulegun. Senior officers within the army favored Brigadier Mai Malari, but the defense minister selected Brigadier Ironsi, a Congo War veteran, putting an end to the contention, and also having previously established the Nigerian Defense Academy to replace the Nigerian Military Training College for the purpose of producing junior officers for the Nigerian Armed Forces. Muhammadu Ribadu is credited as one of the most outstanding defense ministers Nigeria ever had. On 1st May 1965, he was to be honored along with the then Prime Minister, Sir Abubakar Tafawa Balewa, by the Premier of Northern Nigeria, Sir Ahmadu Bello, with gold medals of the Usman Miya Order in Kano. He died on the morning of that day at the age of 55.